Hello and welcome back to another Future Doghouse production. I'm JT Madicus. Let's talk about the 2019 novel coronavirus, shall we? What is a coronavirus? Let's talk about it. Intro. Similar to orthoviridae. What's orthoviridae? It's influenza. If you can say this to your friends, orthoviridae, I caught the orthoviridae, and they look at you like, ooh, what is that? That sounds dangerous, stay away from me. It's the flu, influenza, and the symptoms are the same as the flu. You've got fever, achy body, atypical pneumonia, dry cough, dyspnea, well that's basically a fancy way of saying shortness of breath, and hypoxia, lack of oxygen. Transmission is through zoonotic, zoo being the key word, transmitted between animals and humans, zoo animals. Bats, yes, bats are small mammals. Small mammals. And they are, if you get a question, oh, how did this virus get transmitted to the humans? And one of the answers is bats, pick bats. If it's Ebola, well, pick monkeys. Alright, and birds, yes, bird flu, hence birds. Human to human, and humans of course. Respiratory droplets from humans to another human, urine, sweat, and feces. That's how you can transmit it between humans to humans. Types, you are familiar with SARS, okay? SARS is probably the first or most recognizable coronavirus or coronaviridae. And the outbreak happened in 2003 in Asia. The outbreak infected 8,000 people and caused around 800 deaths. MERS, or Middle East outbreak, the Middle East version of the coronavirus, happened in 2012, and the outbreak caused about 2,000 infected people, and around 800 deaths. So, which one's more deadly? Do the math. 800, 2,000, 800, 8,000. MERS, Middle Eastern Respiratory Syndrome, due to the coronavirus, was more deadly than SARS, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome, coronavirus. And now we have the 2019 coronavirus. 2019 coronavirus. And this originated in Wuhan, China, which has so far affected around 2,000 people, or at least reported 2,000 infected people, and caused about 80 deaths. So it's deadly. I'm not sure if it's as deadly as MERS or SARS, but again, reported infections, so we don't really know how many people were really infected, and the numbers of deaths may continue to rise higher as we test those that have died and find out, oh, they had, say, this coronavirus. Long story short, should you be afraid of the coronavirus, of this 2019 novel or new and unique coronavirus? No. Here's why. So, the 2019 novel coronavirus has spread to 13 areas outside of mainland China. So if you're in mainland China, you're in trouble. If you're not, it's only spread to 13 areas outside of mainland China. And in US, there's only 3 confirmed cases thus far. So, should I be worried? No. Here's why. Influenza worldwide yearly causes death, and in the 2019 to 2020 season, which we are in right now, it's affected 50 million people to 20 million people, and it's caused 140,000 to 200,000 hospitalizations and about 10,000 deaths. So yes, I see where you're going because you're a better mathematician than I am. Millions and thousands of deaths. 2,000, if 2,000 became 2 million deaths, infected people, that's 800,000 deaths. Now we're talking about a lot of deaths. And yes, that is a possibility, but here's why. Don't worry too much at the moment, because viruses like the influenza, vaccines are rapidly being developed and being created, okay, especially in the Western world. Also, on the same note, treatment is usually supportive, and the deaths usually occur with elderly and children and elderly. So these are the populations that would be at risk. If you're my age, less likely to die. Just like the influenza, you're more likely to die if you're an elderly person or a child. And treatment would be supportive. There's possible drugs such as ribavirin and interferon that is possibly effective against the coronavirus. And of course, preventative. I mean, if there is a real outbreak like the flu, avoid public and crowded spaces, because if you are infected with this virus, do not go out and be a public menace. And if you are afraid of catching this virus, do not go out and just be a hermit, or more importantly, self-quarantine yourself. Whether you have the virus or are afraid of getting the virus, just self-quarantine yourself and you'll be sorted. Concerns. Yes, the symptoms are actually more mild than the flu, so people might be more likely to try to ride out this virus and not seek hospitalization or treatment, therefore spreading the virus. And that is a big concern because of the more mild symptoms, which lead to the spread of carriers, as carriers don't seek treatment and avoid hospitalization, thus continuously spreading the disease. But we do have the CDC, if you're an American, and the CDC is very good at what they do. So I am not too concerned at the moment. And all these outbreaks have kind of just burned out. They kind of just went through the whole media spotlight of, oh, there's this possibility of a epidemic or pandemic or whatnot. But I really never see this panning out. I mean, even the swine flu was less severe than the flu, and yet it was a big media sensation. So try not to buy into all the hype. Go with the numbers. The World Health Organization is aware of this, the CDC is aware of this, and they are actively, vigilantly watching the situation. But with China aggressively doing quarantines, not letting people leave the cities, and trying to get a hold of this and handle of this, say, crisis in China, I see this burning out quite quickly and quite rapidly. And as there are less and less deaths due to coronavirus, less media sensation. If you like this video and you want more of these videos, please click subscribe and click that you would like to be notified when you receive a new video from yours truly. Thank you and have a nice day.
You study medicine. Books after books after books of knowledge gets processed. But can you memorize all this knowledge? After many interviews with students, the solution was simple and was created. QUPI.com. Practice your medical knowledge.